Hello everyone, this is Jonathan. I'd like to introduce you to Ghostbusters for the Sega Master System, a game I grew up with quite a long time ago. I'm going to try to beat it here for you. I'm going to assume that most of you are familiar with the original Ghostbusters. Yep, we start a new franchise with $10,000 for equipment. We'll go with the hearse. And let's see. Got the Super PK energy detector. Ghost vacuum. Ghost bait. And we'll need some traps. That'll be good. So this is the main map. It's New York City. The little Ghostbuster icon represents you. We're driving around, and we're going to go to the first site where there's ghosts. Now you actually have to go through the driving portion to get there. Let's get that ghost with the vacuum. Start capturing ghosts. These guys are apparently called roamers. Slimers are the other kind of ghost in this game. Right now, there isn't much to do until we get another call, so we'll just go to Ghostbuster headquarters, where you can replenish people if you lost them, or replenish your power and traps. The goal of the game at this point is to get $10,000 so we can enter Zool once the PK energy reaches red, full red bar. It goes blue, yellow, red. Right now there isn't a whole lot we can do. If we touch these guys though, we can run across them on the driving stage and capture them. The two people walking around are the Keymaster and the Gatekeeper. You don't want to touch them as they'll take money from you. The safest place to be in these driving sections is straight on top of these lines. I say that because if you're not, you can hit these construction areas which will destroy the car and you'll lose money. Same thing can happen if you get smashed by another car into the wall. The other place we can visit is the shop, but we don't need any more equipment. We should be good to go. Oh, there's a call coming in. Let's drive out there. The pink ones mean that there's paranormal activity starting to happen. It's red when it gets to be like a total emergency or is guaranteed to happen. So by the time we get there, it'll probably be red and we'll have ghosts to capture. Can't be hurt while you're pulling off to the side like that. And captured. Yep, it's red down there, so now we can go down there. Hopefully we get there before the ghosts are gone. But yeah, this is basically the whole game until the PK energy meter is full. Things will start changing once we get to red a little bit, but for the most part, this is the entirety of the game for like the first 10 minutes or so. If you miss ghosts with the trap, or you run out of energy before you fire off the trap, you will lose a Ghostbuster. And if you lose two of them, you'll have to replenish them at the headquarters. Oh, great. Just gonna clean up my traps and then get around the Keymaster and the Gatekeeper. It's not really difficult. As you can see, I've already hit 10,000, which is what you need. Although, there's this event in the once it gets to red where you can start to lose money quite a bit. And we'll see that when we get there. Yeah, the cars don't instant kill you, they just knock you around. Just gotta pull all the ghosts over and make sure they don't escape and get caught. There we go. It's a little bit better than the NES version, which I haven't played, but I've seen, and boy am I glad I never got that version of the game growing up. The difference between the normal PK energy meter and the super one is, in order to see the purple flashing ones, you have to be touching them. Whereas with the super one, you can see it anywhere on the map. Oh! And one person gets slimed. That's okay. You can also slow down the rise of the PK energy meter as long as you get those ghosts that are heading towards Zool in the center. See, we're up to yellow energy now, so the instances of calls to Ghostbusters will come in a lot faster. Oh, it touched me and I lost some money. Oh well. Just as long as we keep the buffer above 10,000 by the end of the game, we'll be admitted to Zool. Not quite sure why it costs money to go there, but who knows. Maybe you have to have a permit to enter. And they're not there yet. Now they're there. There we go. But yeah, it's just driving around and doing this for most of the game. You can see why it's not so well known. But it's the early days. People really didn't know what would be fun back then. Oh good, I caught him. And yes, this is the only music in the game, aside from when you get to the ending sequence. So I hope you like the Ghostbusters theme. Nope. Well, I'm out of traps, and I'm almost out of beam power, so I need to go back anyway. Here we got the Slimers. Probably already seen them, but figured I'd mention it since I don't think I've mentioned them yet. But I mean, right now, all of the ghosts are pretty much functionally identical. That'll change once we get to Zool. And nobody's here yet. Oh, it went from red to empty and now it's back to purple. Darn. That happens during the red. You get a marshmallow alert, and you lose $4,000 if Marshmallow Man destroys a building. The marshmallow sensor and the super marshmallow sensor will let you know ahead of time that a building's been marked for that, so you can react faster. The reason we bought the Ghost Bait is so we can stop that from happening. If you manage to stop that, you actually get $2,000 for saving the building. But we've got such a big buffer that there's only like 2 or 3 more marshmallow events, and even if that happened, I think we'd still be okay. Nope, not this time. Oh, I'm out of empty traps. Back to headquarters. Yeah, see, if you go down the center line, you're just able to miss those stop signs that'll break you. Nope. There we go. Saved 2 buildings, so that makes up for the building that got destroyed. Come on. There we go. Right now, I can probably tell you there's gonna be a second run of this, just because Zool is so hard. I will be showing off some of the cooler gadgets and stuff on my second run through. But unless I'm extremely lucky, I don't think I'm gonna beat this on the first try. And you'll see why soon enough. Because we're about to hit Zool, I think, after this one. I might... Nope, yep, that's it. Our first goal is to get 3 people in past the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Game can end here. Okay, and go! Ah, I made it. Cool. And go! Nope. Damn it. One more chance. Nope. So, didn't even make it into Zool, but we get this password here for our next game, which lets us keep the money that we earned, which will allow me to show off some of the cooler gadgets and stuff. Unfortunately, none of those things help you once you get to Zool, so just really keep on trying to get through. I'll be right back with my next attempt. Hello again, it's Jonathan. I'm back with my second attempt at Ghostbusters. I inputted my password and I've got all the money from my first attempt. Show off some of the cooler stuff, like you can get a faster car. I know it's not the normal hearse, but faster car. Then we'll toss in some equipment, the image intensifier. That doesn't really do much, it just shows the ghosts better so they're not flashing. Super PK energy detector like we had before, the super marshmallow sensor, ghost bait. We'll get a high capacity trap, and we'll get the laser confinement system. What that does is it eliminates the need to have more than one trap because the ghosts will be automatically sent. The high capacity trap allows you to fire off the trap and you don't need, if you miss it, you can do it again. Super anion beam gives us more power for the beam. Well, the super ghost vacuum. And that's all we have room for. I think 8 is the maximum. Yeah. So we'll just start with that. So yeah, starting with the money helps out at the beginning of the game, but I mean, as you saw, it's not really that difficult to get the 10,000 you need at the start. The big problem comes in having to do the game repeatedly just to get back to Zool. Right now I'm just driving around to catch all the ghosts, and then I'll head to Ghostbuster headquarters because I'm just waiting for ghosts to appear. I mean, I probably shouldn't be catching them since I want the PK energy meter to go up, but whatever. I suppose I could just sit in place and wait for a call. Just moving when the Keymaster and the Gatekeeper come. But I mean, that's boring, right? You don't want to sit here and be just watching me sit here. Oh! Getting a call. Might be ready by the time we get up there. I think it's about $500 per caught ghost and $200 if you get them by the vacuum during the driving sections. So, it adds up over a while, but I mean, we've already started with enough money to go to Zool by the end. Just to spare everyone having to see this all over and over again, just to show the end, I may just do a cut compilation of get through Zool, so you can see how tough it can be, and actually see the end of the game without having to see me do this over and over and over and over again. Because, well, the first part's easy. Zool and On is really, really difficult. Not as difficult as the NES version, fortunately, but still difficult. What could I talk about in the meantime? I guess I could talk about the uniqueness of actually owning a Sega Master System and a Nintendo back in the day. Not a lot of people had access to the Sega Master System. I imagine even fewer people had access to both. So, when the console holy wars started around the 90s between Sega and Nintendo, I really didn't feel the need to pick a side. I had both of them. I was fortunate enough to have both of them, and I could see the advantages in both. In retrospect, I guess the Sega Master System was the weaker of the two, at least in terms of games and stuff, but the Master System definitely was better technologically, although, of course, that doesn't mean anything. You can have a much better console with weaker hardware. But, I mean, I don't know. I really enjoyed the games they had, like Alex Kidd. That was their mascot before they had Sonic the Hedgehog. He was pretty cool. I am glad that I got this, as I said in the previous episode, or a portion of the video, depending on how we split this up. I am glad I got this version rather than the Nintendo version. But yeah, unfortunately, it's just grinding here until we get to Zool. But yeah, even by the 16-bit era, I had access to both a Super Nintendo and a Sega Genesis, so I could see the advantages in both. Though I did play a lot less Sega Genesis, personally. But I mean, I don't know. I never understood the whole console war idea anyway. To me, both sides had their advantages and disadvantages, and there's plenty of a market to go around for people. I can see that not everybody could afford it back in the day, and I was lucky enough to be able to. Growing up, looking back on growing up, I can see I had a lot of advantages video game-wise that a lot of other people didn't, and it was kind of surprising to me, but I guess in retrospect it shouldn't have been that surprising. Like, back in the day, I used to spend a lot of money on... Well, I had Nintendo Power, but I also used to call the old Nintendo... Oh, there I died, finally. That loses $1,000, I think. But back in the day, I used to spend money on Nintendo game counselors as well. But then it turned out that my mom... Oh, come on. Get lower so I can actually capture you with the beam. That's the one issue, is you can't get a longer beam, so they can just sit out of range and make you waste power. As I was trying to say, after a certain while, I imagine in the late 80s, early 90s, my mom's ex-roommate actually became a Nintendo game counselor, and it became cool because she was also my babysitter. Could actually talk to her about, oh, what game are you running this weekend? Well, it's this one, and she actually brought the binder, and I thought that was awesome. Not everyone got access to that stuff, but I found out a lot of people didn't have access to some of the stuff we had just living in Seattle. Like at the local mall, they had a kiosk which had a 10 cartridge selector by Nintendo, and you could try out new games before they came out, and that was a huge deal back then. Because, I mean, Nintendo Power wasn't exactly an unbiased source, so you weren't actually going to know if the game was any good. It's how I found out not to buy Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, because I just tried it, and it's like, I can't figure out what's going on, I'm just gonna not buy that one. I mean, of course, back in the day you had rentals too, which helped a bit, but sucked if, you know, you rented a game for a weekend and that's all you had. Things were just way different back then. I do remember one cool thing, though. I forget how we got it, but we have actually a folder. I'll need to dig it up, and I'll show that off sometime on Twitter or something, but we had a folder of codes and cheats and stuff for various Master System games mailed to us from Sega, I believe. I don't know if we had to send away for those, like pay money. It was like a folder full of photocopied information, and that was really handy back in the day. Especially since Sega didn't really have a Nintendo Power of its own. And of course, nobody was as interested in the Master System as Nintendo, at least in the US market. And of course, there was no internet back then, so there was no way to just look up codes like you do nowadays, and you're going to be a pain and not let me get there. There we go. But yeah, even though I had access to both consoles in a few of the cases, I was mostly a Nintendo person. Had the Game Boy growing up, had the Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64. Didn't get into Sony rather until the PS2, but I did pick up PS1 games then, so I got to play a few of those. One real nice thing was I got my Super Nintendo from my babysitter. She actually gave it to me for free, along with 3 launch titles. And I think it may have actually been a little bit before the system came out on store shelves. So that was like extremely awesome, and all my friends loved coming over to play those. It was Mario, Pilot Wings, and F-Zero, which were probably the 3 best titles at launch for the Super Nintendo. But yeah, growing up, I didn't realize just how awesome I had it. And I'm not really meaning to do this to brag, but it just what happened. We'd have to say, though, that the biggest pivotal point for me growing up was the Super Nintendo. Because video games are fun and all, but it's where I discovered the love of my actual favorite genre, which I haven't actually touched on in any of my Let's Plays yet, but I plan to at some point, is the simulation and strategy genre. My favorite game growing up was SimCity for the Super Nintendo. I'd never played a game like that, and it was before I had access to a computer, so I just fell in love with the idea of a simulation game. And it's really sad that it's kind of fallen to the wayside, especially nowadays. It's just not really a popular genre. What else can I blabber on about while killing time until we get to Zool again? Oh yeah. Let's see. I definitely had a unique experience in video games growing up, because there's a lot of major video game franchises I didn't play until way after they were relevant, like Metroid and Mega Man. The only Final Fantasy I played 14 now, but that's an MMO, but the only console Final Fantasy I played is Mystic Quest, and I've beaten that, so it was kind of interesting growing up to... I had a lot of different games that, you know... Of course I had Mario and Zelda and things like that, but... You know, I missed a lot of the other major franchises growing up, and that kind of gave me a unique perspective. Found a lot more obscure games, and I actually tend to seek out the more obscure games just because I want to see other ideas, especially nowadays. It's kind of like first-person shooters can be okay, but they're not my favorite genre. I used to play Counter-Strike back in the day because that's what everyone did for multiplayer. It's not because it particularly engaged me, it was just that's what all my friends were playing. Much easier to catch the marshmallow alert with the sensor. What other tangent can I go off on while we're waiting for this to finish? I suppose I could talk a bit about Zool. After getting your men past the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man at the doors, you've got to go up a staircase. Fortunately, unlike the NES version, you don't have to go up 23 flights or 21 flights or whatever it was in the movie. You only have to go up like 7 or 9 flights, but it's still pretty difficult. And unlike the NES version, you can actually defend yourself. But I'll get to that more in a couple of minutes when we actually get there. Assuming we actually get there. Might come after the second attempt if I can't get past the Marshmallow Man. But yeah, you can see with the upgrades, it's a lot easier. You don't have to go to Ghostbuster headquarters nearly as much. And you can just grind money like this, but unfortunately, there really isn't an incentive to. So one of the big failings of this game, I suppose, was that you couldn't actually get any upgrades to help you in the portion where you have to go through the first part of the game every single time to get back to. There's no continues, per se. You get your 2 or 3 lives at Zool, and that's it. You have to get through it on those lives. And once you get up to the rooftop stage, I'll point out a huge dick move they did if you get up there with your last life. And here we go. Let's see if I can get past the Marshmallow Man this time. And get up to about the curb level before he automatically goes forward. At that point, you can only steer left and right, I believe. Alright, I got in. If you don't get in with the second guy here, and you get in with the third guy, you only get 2 people to challenge the stairs instead of 3, I believe. Alright, I made it! Now we come to the stairs, where, unlike the NES version, you can also use your proton pack to defend yourself. The first couple steps aren't too bad. You've got the Slimer, and you've got the Roamer. That's it, the Roamer. Just found that out checking out the manual. I lost my manual a long time ago. At this point, the really hard Roamer's there. He flies around and throws dishes at you. And then once we get up this step, we get the harder version of the Slimer, which is the fastest ghost in the game. Whoa. No! I fired the wrong way. Dang it. So close. The stairs were right, or the door to the roof was right there. Sometimes it's better to go back and shoot them so you can keep your distance. Although with the dish guys, it's really hard regardless, because they can throw pretty far away. I'm just going to skip him for now and hope it doesn't come back to bite me. It looks like it has. Okay. Get down there. You can shoot the dishes, too. It's not easy. Dang it. Yeah, I should have retreated, but even that's not a guarantee. You can see they're going across the whole stairs. If I'm unable to actually make it this time, I will probably do a smash cut of deaths until I win the game here. Because it's pretty unforgiving at this point. Because once you get up the stairs, then you actually have to... That was my fault. Once you actually get up the stairs, you have to deal with the rooftop. And because I don't want to subject you to that boring part at the beginning again, yeah, I'll just do a smash cut of everything from Zool onward. The beginning of Zool onward. Here's why it's a dick move if you don't move out of the way at the beginning. He just appears and kills you, right like that. Now you gotta hit him like 8 times or so, while dodging everything, and you can't run out of beam power. So yeah, this still probably not as bad as the NES version, but still screws you over. Dang it. Whoa. Oh, I did it! Awesome! I guess if you get him trapped there, he doesn't have a chance to retaliate. That was a lot quicker than I expected. Take that, Gorza! Thanks for coming up on this trip of nostalgia with me. Hope you all have a great day or evening or whatever it is there for you.